This is the swinging bridge at the mouth of Robinson Run, and in Braxton County. We're going to go look at some old house sites and maybe an old coal mine. Should be up over here this way, across the river there. Boy, this bridge really has a sag to it. A lot more than I can remember. It bounces a lot. Oh. And I want to show you upriver here of the swinging bridge. It was a low water bridge, but as you can see, it wasn't built very sturdy. It's collapsed. Used to be able to walk across that. Let's see if I could get over without falling in here. These old boards. All right. Yeah, these steps just don't look as good as they used to. That's the creek coming out of Robinson Run. It's basically dry, despite the amount of water that's coming across here in the right fork of the Holly River. We have had some rains the last couple of days, but it really still has not been enough to penetrate the ground. I guess one section of this low water bridge is just buried in rock and everything here now. It's a beautiful hole of water above it. No, there's no fish in here, before someone asks. According to the radar map at nationalmap.gov, there's a couple anomalies right here along this bottom that's grown up in trees. I'm going to swing back here real quick. There's the low water bridge, that nice hole of water above it here at Robinson Run. The first anomaly is a cellar house. I could already see it. It shows up on the map, radar map. And I'll put a link in the video of that map so you can see what I'm talking about. But I see it back here already. And then a little upriver in this direction, there's an anomaly that looks like a square. So I imagine it's a foundation. There's some more modern concrete blocks, and they're concreted together, which tells me this was used probably up until the 50s when the government acquired this land here, because this is a public hunting area. And interestingly, look right here. It's an old well with water in it. Should have brought my magnet to metal detect it, or magnet fish as we call it. Right up front of the cellar house, 5 feet in front of the entrance to this old cellar house. So we're going to go this way according to my GPS. Yeah, according to my GPS, I got to go about a couple hundred feet to find that square anomaly, just right up the river here from this cellar house. At the side of that old cellar house and well, I found this bottle. It's got a screw cap for it, which means it's not as old, but it is thick glass, so it is an older bottle. I think it's a medicine bottle of some type. The bottom says Blue Ribbon, actually. And it says, it's not going to show, 3 with the Roman numeral V11, 38. And along the edge of the bottle, it's got measurement marks. Well, sure enough, maybe only about 100 feet past that cellar house. Here's that square foundation. Most likely this is an old house foundation here. Okay, here's that foundation. It's probably about 40 by 40, but look at the size of the tree that's grown up inside of it. So that tells you it's a good 70, 80 years of growth since this was used. So the next thing we're going to find on the GPS is up the hill behind this. It should be an old coal mine. I expect it to be collapsed and not open, just because of where it's at. It's not under a rock cliff or anything, according to that radar map. It does show as a mine, though. And again, I'll have a screenshot of the nationalmap.gov picture of it to show you what these mines look like when you're looking on a radar map to try to find them. This is the anomaly that showed up on the radar map. Again there. Now, do I know this is a mine? Nope, but I'm gonna kick the leaves around and see if I see any coal laying here to prove it. Now I made it to the anomaly that shows up on the map. It goes straight in and then turns to the right if you're heading uphill. And kicking around the leaves, you'll see the little bits of shale and shale coal, I call it. It's all over the place. It leads me to believe this was a mine. In fact, been a while since this was used. I don't know if you could see. I'm kind of showing you the hump of the waste pile here, where they would have dug this out. And there's actually a little depression right over here as well, where they might have tried to go in. The green area down there is the field at the mouth of Robinson Run. If you're coming down from the County Route 15, that field would be on your left if you're standing at the low water bridge. So we're only about 150 feet in elevation up. That house foundation was probably 500 feet that way, and then another less, maybe 100 feet was the cellar house. Right over to where this mine is here. Okay, that's the hump of the waste pile, and then as you come downhill, just show you how it's scattered all over the place. The little pieces of shale and small pieces of coal once they were digging this. Where I kicked the leaves away, that would probably have been the entrance, the way this turns to the right from the bottom. And up on the waste pile here, you can see all the, where they chipped away at coal and shale to get into this mine. Unfortunately, from natural deterioration, it looks like it's collapsed. I didn't bring my mining bolt with me, which I have a 5-foot mining bolt. I usually probe those entrances to see if I could find a hole. It's hard to say whether there is one or not after all this time. That is part of the waste pile down there. They dug back, 75 feet. Back to here. That'd be the top. The best way to describe this is if you're on the point at Canal Run and Belknap Hollow, in between that point, which is kind of right over in there, it's hard to see, and you come across the river. So it's opposite the campground, the upper and the lower campgrounds. It's actually opposite that small piece of the campground where the upper boat launch is, where this coal mine is. Looks like there might be a little hole at the top there. I'll go look at that. It might be hard to see, but there's an old road that leads right up to this mine. And this mine's pretty far up the hill. Right there it is. And I'll show you, it's another couple hundred feet in elevation to get to the top. This was about from the mouth of Robinson Run, a 1.5 mile hike over here, 400-foot elevation gain. Way up on the hill. There are a couple hollow spots. I don't know if I could get the camera in though. Well, it is very soft at the top of the mine here, like there's a rock ledge in there. There's some holes in there, but not big enough to get my camera in, and I don't have any of my equipment here. Okay, that's where they started digging back there. And I'm standing about halfway in. I want you to see how high up they dug. So where I kicked some leaves around there, that's about a little bit 7 feet above where I'm standing, where my feet would be. So they really dug a deep mine here. 100 feet below to 200 feet below the mine that I just filmed. There's all types of piles of rocks like this. Might be hard to see some of them. And if you look at the majority of the trees, the vast majority, they're all poplar, which tells me this was a field at one time, and farmers cleared the hillside. Oh, there's 100.